Dave, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you, Jay?
I'm pretty good. We were going to do this. We were going to do this live from your home office. You live in it's Paradise Valley, right, Arizona?
That's right. Yep.
So we're going to do this live in Dave's office. However, because I'm out here in Arizona for the next couple of weeks as well, we have like a second home. We come out here too a little bit to get some sun. So Dave's home's like 10 minutes down the road from where we have our other place, and we're going to drive down there. But we just, me and Dave are not the most technology smartest people in the world. So we're like, you know what, maybe we should just do it from separate offices so we don't mess it up for everybody. So thanks for being on here, Dave. I really appreciate it.
No, this is fun, man. I feel the years go by so quick. I originally heard about you in 2005, something like that. Wow.
Yeah, that long?
Yeah.
Wow. I was like 20 as like a kid. I was like just out of college, I think, somewhere in that range. That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so we're going to get into some really cool stuff. So I've got Dave Kosak here, a guy that is now making over $50,000 a month in straight commissions as a sales rep in his job. It's a 1099 that stands for general contractor. So he does his own taxes and stuff. It's better for tax purposes to be a 1099 sales rep. But we're going to go into like how it all started for him, because I think when everybody hears, when we interview clients and stuff that make 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 a month in commissions or higher within all these different industries. We're talking hundreds of different industries. They're like, there's no way I can do that. But I want everybody to understand that Dave just didn't start out there. I mean, he started from rock bottom like most of us. And it wasn't until he learned the right skills that worked with human behavior that kind of got him up to that level. We're going to talk about that in a second. I've got some good questions I'm going to ask Dave. So I'm the founder and chairman of an organization called Seventh Level, and we are a company that helps sales professionals just like you watching us right now. We help sales professionals, coaches, sales executives, leaders, business owners, and we help you transform the way you and your team sell, how you communicate to your prospects, by learning how to sell with techniques that work with human behavior rather than work against it. There's a significant difference in what I mean by that. I'm going to cover that. Now, those are called neuro-emotional persuasion questions. So when you hear NEPQ, that's what we're talking about. Now, we also teach you how to deliver that the right way, the right tonality that puts your prospects at ease, eliminate sales pressure, it's very key, and get your prospects to persuade themselves. All right, Dave, let's get to the good stuff. So Mr. Arizona, so tell us what's been going on. So me and you met in 2005. I can't even remember how we met. I think we were working in the same company at that time. We're both selling like high ticket something. I don't remember what it was.
No, actually, that's not totally accurate. What happened was you were like this hard to reach figure. And you were this guy that hit these numbers, and they're like, have you heard about this guy, Jeremy Minor? And I'm like, name rings a bell, but what's up? They're like, he did like over $2 million in a year. And I'm like, no way. There's no way he did that, because I was in a similar company, or maybe even the same company. We don't have to say names right now, but I was the number one earner like in 2002. You came in a little bit later. And then, the most I ever made in a year was like, I don't even know exactly, but probably 700.
Yeah, you were doing pretty well. So I remember, so we both worked for a company selling like self-development conferences. So we were high-end conference that cost $5,000, $10,000, $25,000. There was even a conference that we would sell that they would hold out like in South Africa or like foreign countries that was like for $40,000 or $50,000. We get paid like 10 or 15% commissions for each of those sales. And we both worked for the same company. And I believe I came in and everybody was like, who the hell is this new guy that's just like killing everybody?
And like everyone would try to get around Jeremy, but he had this like entourage of security. You couldn't get near him. He was just like a rock star. And, we would just try to brush shoulders. But no, you really crushed it, man. And I was like, what's the deal? And then I learned over the years getting to know you, and with, eventually NEPQ,
Yeah.
You had some stuff that was just radically different than what we were doing. We were just excited, and we were just happy with our life. And you know, I went to college, but I didn't graduate college. I'm one of those guys.
Yeah.
So to see, when you hear about a guy making $2 million, that's like incredible, because
yeah,
I've got 7 doctors in my family, and
yeah,
you'd have to put them all together to make that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and you did well. I mean, when I came in that company, I think you were the #1 earner or something. You were making 600,000-700,000 a year, and that's a lot of money. I mean, just don't get me wrong. Like, for a salesperson to make 600,000-700,000 every year in and out, I mean, that's life-changing income.
Well,
right?
that was back with dial-up.
Yeah, in 2005, 2006, that's like $1 million a year now, right? So that's life-changing income, but it didn't start out that way for you. Take us back. Like, when did you get first in sales? Like, what happened? Because everybody, they hear that and they're like, "There's no way I can make 600,000 or 700,000 a year. There's no way I can do that with what I sell." But you didn't start off making that. Take us back to the very beginning of you getting into sales.
We're going way back in the time machine. That was so I'm 47 years old right now, and somewhere back around the late 80s, I answered a newspaper ad that said, "Learn to earn $5,000 a week part-time,
okay,
or $20,000 a week full-time."
Okay.
So I answered an 800 number. These guys picked me up. It's, looking back on it, it's super creepy, the fact this even worked. And they took me to a hotel meeting.
Okay.
And it was for a sales training right here in Paradise Valley, actually.
Okay.
And, I'm 16. I'm living with my parents, and I decided, I guess I'm going to sell water filters for a company that most people probably know about back in the.
So it was like one of those network marketing opportunities.
Yeah, some direct sale network marketing thing where you
got to recruit people. So tell us how it started. Like, did you go out and just make $1 billion, or what happened?
And I had no idea what I was doing. It was so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was embarrassing. My dad came home, and my dad's a doctor. In the garage, there's all these boxes of. I don't know how I got a credit card. I probably used his, and I got a bunch of product, and I didn't know what to do. Yeah. And I had no sales experience. I started reading some books back then. Zig Ziglar, things like that, Get
excited.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Get pumped up. And, but it was a long road. It was a very long road.
So you got into like the network marketing scene, right? And a lot of companies, we train a lot of companies in that space too. Okay. So I'm very familiar with it. And the biggest mistake they make is they tell their people that work for them, you don't have to sell anything. Just hand out these, DVDs, hand out these audios. It'll do all the selling for you. You never have to sell anything. Nothing could be further from the truth. And that's why 99% of people in that industry fail big time. And then that industry gets a bad rep. Let me make sure everybody is clear. When somebody buys something, you are in sales. I mean, even if they don't buy something, like if you're an attorney trying to convince a jury your client's innocent, well, you're in sales. I hate to tell you. Like, if you're trying to move or persuade somebody to do anything, you're selling, right? Whether you get paid commission or not, but especially for that industry, when you're going out and recruiting people that maybe want to make more money or have more time with their family, you are trying to sell them. So the biggest thing that those companies don't understand is they try to say, because I think they think that selling is bad or something. And I'm like, selling is good, because if you can't sell them your product or services, you're not helping them solve the problems that they have. And they stay in status quo, and then nothing ever changes. But you have to know how to communicate that right. So many people in sales, even that industry especially, is notoriously bad, is somebody will say something like, oh, like one of your friends you're talking to will say, they don't like their boss. And you'll jump in and be like, oh, well, I've got something great for you. There's this great opportunity, and you should come to this meeting. And this guy's making all this money. And, we have all these cool products. And then 2 minutes later, they're like, oh, I'm not interested in that, even though they have a problem. Right. So they just start pitching their solutions so early in the conversation. And that's for most people in sales that sell anything, that it turns the prospect off and they just run the other way. Was that happening to you in the beginning?
100%. And I never had a mentor to really guide me. I mean, there'd be people here and there, but we were just going through the motions.
Yeah.
We were just kind of like just showing up and, like, let's see what happens. And, oh, that was a good week, or that was a good one, or
Yeah.
it was pretty much feast or famine.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's such a hard and unpredictable way to live your life right now.
Yeah.
Then later on, you get a little bit older. You get married, right? You start having kids. When did that all happen?
So I've got a 5th and a 6th grader now, and we were married a couple of years before that. So things get real serious when that happens. All of a sudden, that's your wake up call.
So you get married, like, man, I need to really learn how to sell.
Absolutely, I needed to learn how to do something. I mean, whatever it is, it's something. We got to do something to make this work. But and I was still dabbling in some sales, but also still dabbling in like some type of networking. And I'll tell you what, the networking's tough. It's tough, man. I do think there's a little bit of luck involved, meaning, right place, right time, getting there. But what I've learned from you with sales is you can eliminate that luck part. You don't have to do that whole, well, I got into the right time, because it doesn't matter if a company is, 10 months old or 10, 20, 30 years old. If you know how to communicate the way you taught me, you can come in there and you can write your own check.
Yeah, you're going to be the top salesperson in the company. It doesn't matter if it's a brand new opportunity, an opportunity that's been around 50 years. You can come in like, when you first met me and I came into the company where you were already the top income earner as a salesperson, that company, it wasn't like it was just there 6 months before and it's like a ground floor breaking product. I mean, they'd already been around 10 plus years or more. Okay. So it wasn't like it was anything new. That industry had been around for 50, 60 years. It wasn't like it was anything new, like groundbreaking personal development products. I mean, Tony Robbins had the same products, right? Tony Robbins has been around much longer. So it's just how I communicated. I remember when I came in and I just started just going to town and people were like, what is going on? And I remember there would be rumors like, oh, well, Jeremy, he must make all that money because they must give him the best leads. Or, he just lies to everybody. He must just be lying to everybody and somehow they're just paying for this. Or, he's doing this. There's all these things that I would hear. Like, why don't you guys just hear me on calls?
No, that's not even remotely close to the truth. Guys, what happened with Jeremy, and I found this out actually before I really got to know him, I said, what is up with that guy? What's his secret?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to mention this person's name because he's no longer with us. But he told me that man is so focused and so diligent. He walks around with a big notebook. You remember this?
I do remember this story.
And you probably know what I'm talking about. And he said you would take meticulous notes. Yeah. So Jeremy was working on his game. Jeremy was sharpening his saw when everyone else was partying.
Yeah.
We're in Fiji. We're all of South Africa, wherever, Cancun, having umbrella drinks. He is actually interviewing the top producers there, just taking notes. Yeah, that's important, guys. I mean, it's really, really, really important to do that, and I think that's why you have springboarded yourself to where you're at.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big note taker. So, and we teach salespeople this, in our live group coaching calls and even in our virtual training courses that we offer our students. But we teach them how to take notes and like shorthand notes and what to do and how to feedback and repeat that. But I remember when we worked for the same company as salespeople and we'd sell these high-end events, right? These big personal development conferences, like same type of, almost like Tony Robbins events, but they had different owners and they were awesome. Like people love those events. I mean, there'd be 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people at each of these events, and they would be every 8 weeks, right? So we'd always be on the road, like every 2 months, going to these events. And I remember at the events, it's like all the salespeople were out partying and just crazy stuff. I never did any of that. I was just there to learn, and I was there to sharpen my saw. Right. And I was just diligent. Right. And I just outlearned everybody else. Now, most of it had to do with the questions I was asking. And I remember people were like, there's no way he's doing this. He must have better leads. And the owners would be like, no. Like, he has the same leads everybody else does. The owners, they would always say that. Right. They'd always back me. And I'm like, well, why don't you guys, I told the owners one day, I'm like, why don't you just have everybody hear me call leads. So they know exactly what I'm saying. Because people would be like, oh, he must be lying. He must be lying. He must just be lying. And that's how he makes all these sales. I'm like, actually, if you lied, you'd make less sales. Let's just be frank about it, right? People are not dumb. You're selling $50,000 products to people. They're pretty sophisticated. They're not, down in the ghetto, buying $50,000 personal development events. These are high-end business owners and people. They're smart, okay? So I remember they scheduled a conference call. This was back in like 2006, 2007 or something. So there was like no Zoom or anything like that. So it was just dial into the conference call. And for a couple of hours, everybody just heard me call leads. And I was closing. And people were like, I just remember, what was everybody's reaction?
Well, they're just kind of blown away because everyone was just kind of, I really hate the word, the grind, going through the grind. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to go through a grind.
I was basically doing the exact opposite of whatever.
You were in flow. You were in total flow, and it was easy. It was effortless. People were just like, okay. And you just knew how to find out what and it wasn't, you were authentic. You weren't trying to manipulate anyone. You just wanted to help them.
Yeah.
And they would give legitimate excuses like, this sounds good to me, but my wife's going to kill me.
Yeah.
And you just knew how to put it into your own world because we both, we're both married guys and we've done stuff where we probably bought things without asking.
Sure.
And we get it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So if they ever say like, oh, I need to talk to my wife or I need to talk to my husband or whatever, all you simply do, it's very simple. And I'm going to give everybody we're going to drop a bomb right here for you, a golden nugget. All you simply do, and it doesn't matter what you sell, but like with what me and Dave were selling at that time are like personal development events. So, and they were for business owners to go to so they could really have the right mindset to scale their companies, right? So what we would say is, well, okay, but yeah, that's not a problem. How does your spouse feel about you learning the right skills, mindset-wise, to be able to scale your company so you can make more money, right? So notice I'm tying in, how does the spouse feel about learning the right mindset? That's what the personal development events offered, so that you can, and I'm repeating back the benefit he said he wanted, was to make more money for the company. So now I'm tying in, how does his wife feel to him getting what he wants? And it's very hard for people to come back and say, oh, well, no, she doesn't want me to make more money. Of course, they're like, oh, I think she would. And then we challenge him. And then you would hear me say that, but hold on though. What if you go to her and she doesn't want you to get the funding for these events? And then you never get the right mindset and your company stays stagnant where you're at right now for the next 5 or 10 years. What are you going to do then? And they'd be like, oh, no, I'm going to do it. Like, there's just no way. But hold on. What if you go to her and she doesn't want you to get the funding for that? Like, how are you ever going to scale your business? Oh, I have to do this. And like they start telling you, right? So we're avoiding the push-pull dynamic. We're pushing, and they just push back. That's human behavior. And we're asking them questions and challenging them, asking consequence questions that get them to do what? Pull us in, right? That's the difference. And I remember doing those calls, and I remember people would get off and they're just like, good Lord. Like they didn't know that type of sales world even existed. It was like the Matrix, the blue pill and the red pill. And now they took the red pill and they were like, their eyes were opened of like, oh my God, I didn't even know selling was this easy, how he makes it. What were your thoughts on that? That was a long time ago.
No, it totally was a long time ago. And I remember, at one point in my career, someone said, you're a salesman. And for a second I was like, ouch, that kind of hurts. Like a salesman.
Yeah.
And then I realized I love being a salesman. It's amazing to know how to assist somebody.
Yeah.
Because they're, first of all, I'm not cold calling people. They're calling me.
Yeah.
I'm there to help. I'm there to find solutions. And I mean, the main thing with you, Jeremy, is just you kind of cut through a lot of the clutter of like, okay, there's going to be a lot of this stuff here. You don't need this. Just kind of brush this off. Just laser beam in on this, because that's really all they really care about at the end of the day anyway.
Yeah. And
when you do that, all of a sudden your calendar becomes more, you compress time into more laser beam times.
Yeah.
And, and then all of a sudden your income becomes so much bigger but the time you spend is so much smaller.
Yeah, you make way more and you work less hours. You're just far more effective, right? We call that PTB, or prospect time blocking, right? In our new training course, our NEPQ 3.0 course, I just did a whole nother training aspect that our new members have not even seen yet, that's getting uploaded today, just on that subject.
And everyone out there, just so you know, I'm so old school that I still have like 3 versions ago of Jeremy's stuff, and I'm still hitting 50, 60,000 a month. So maybe, Jeremy, I can upgrade to the next one to make it
one of our team members. This is funny. The reason why I wanted to bring you out here, because I love to, a lot of times, like every week we do at least one interview with a client. Okay. And we try to mix up like completely different industries every week, right? So everybody knows like NEPQ works for whatever you sell, whether it's cars, whether it's high ticket, whether it's medical device sales, whether it's pharma, whether it's life insurance, whether it's financial investments. I mean, it doesn't, recruiting. We train real estate agents. We train hundreds of different industries at this point. So we always mix it up with different industries every week, because we want people to see that it works for everything, right? It doesn't matter what you sell. When you learn it, what we teach you, you can sell anything. You can, Dave, you can leave your job right now and say, you know what, I'm thinking about becoming a real estate agent. And within about 3 months, you'll probably be the top real estate agent in your whole area, let alone city, because you can take the same questions and then wrap them around a different industry that we teach you how to do, and you just take off like a rocket ship. So I remember about 4 years ago, I started 7th Level about 3 years ago, 3.5, somewhere in that range. And I remember you were a person, because we became pretty good friends, because I taught you a lot of the stuff is when we were in the same company and same industry, and you just took off even more and made so much more money. But I remember you talked to me and you're like, man, you really need to start your own sales training company. There was a couple friends that I had that said, dude, you got to have way more people know about this stuff, because this is like completely life-changing. What caused you to even say that? I don't think I've ever asked you before.
Dude, that was so crazy. So that was like the summer, and obviously we knew each other, but we were not like, we're not best friends like some of your boys from Australia. We're I'm talking about, we're just acquaintances, and we're friends in the world. But I just remember going, if he could just do that on a bigger scale, this thing would really take off.
Yeah.
Well, I remember calling you up, and at the time, my father-in-law was going through cancer treatment in Minnesota, so we were up in Minnesota. So we were living winters here, summers there, and he calls me up and he goes, "You know what? I like your idea." He's like, "Come down for the weekend." So Brent and I jump in the car, and it's like 6-7 hours to your place.
Yeah,
and we go there, and we just like got up at 6 a.m. and just got on the whiteboard, like brainstormed it out, and it's really, really cool what's happened. I mean, it's really gotten.
No, you really helped me kind of define it and what it would look like, and just how we would go out to, like, because at that time I was doing private consulting, and people from different industries were just coming to me. Like, we didn't advertise, didn't do anything. And you're like, dude, you need to start advertising. Like, there's so many people that need this, because there's so much old school stuff out there that people go through, think it's the gospel, use it, and then they're wondering like, why can't I make a ton of money in sales? Like, it's just the wrong technique for the wrong time, right? We're living in 2021. The consumer is so much more skeptical and cautious than they've ever been before. And it's only getting worse. So if you're using skills and you're so excited when you talk to your prospects, it turns so many people off, because they're so used to that approach from salespeople for the last 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 plus years, that it instantly triggers sales resistance. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. It's like if you walk in to a store and you need to buy a pair of jeans in a retail store, and the salesperson says, "How can I help you?" It's just an instant reaction, just looking. Even though you're there to buy the jeans, you don't even know what you're doing. It's a defensive mechanism that your brain has been taught, because you are literally being sold every day of the week, every hour. Like, you wake up in the morning, right? Let me give you an example. Everybody's sold 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Literally, you wake up in the morning, you get on your Facebook feed, all these ads trying to sell you something, right? You go into the living room, you turn on your TV, commercials trying to sell you something. You get into your car, you turn on the radio, trying to sell you something, commercials trying to sell you something. You drive down the road, you're looking at billboards trying to sell you something, right? You get on your Instagram later in the day, somebody's pitching their newest MLM, grandma trying to sell you something. So you're constantly being sold all of the time. And as human beings, it's caused us to have these defensive mechanisms. So you have to understand that in the first 5, 10, 15 seconds of every conversation you're in that's sales related, whether it's on the phone, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's in person in a boardroom meeting, if you sell B2B, or if it's B2C, if you're going door to door, just you have an appointment, it doesn't matter the interaction. Your prospects are picking up on social cues based on your tonality and what you are saying and asking that trigger their brain to react one of two ways. If you don't know the right questions, okay, which we find most salespeople and companies don't because they're still trained traditional old school ways, it triggers immediate sales resistance. I don't think we need it. No, we can't afford it. We're not interested right now. Can you call me back a week, a month, a year later? Triggers that. Or if you know the right questions to ask, if you understand NEPQ, if you've gone through our sales training courses like Dave has and is crushing it, he knows that there's certain questions to ask in the beginning that triggers their brain to become so curious that they feel like they have to engage. Otherwise, they're missing out on something that could be very important for them. Okay. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's an amazing foundation. I think a lot of people that are brand new to this, I would get the information, but don't expect that immediately to just overnight change your life. Stick around, let Jeremy teach you the stuff that he did for me. And it takes a couple weeks. It's not like overnight where you go, okay, I studied on Monday. I'm going to kill it on Tuesday. No, it's going to be a process. Yeah. And the process gets better and better. Yeah. And I'm sure you guys have seen some of the other guys that have known him for a while, have known him for months or years. But what's really exciting now is there's people that have only known you for a few weeks that are now knocking out like $8,000 a month, and they've never made more than $3,000 a month.
No, I mean, completely strange. On average, Dave, I don't know if you heard this, but we just counted. We have 2,169 testimonials now in the first 3 years.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it grows every day. We get about 3 to 5 new ones every single day, every day of the week. And they post them in this Facebook group, or they'll post them in some of our other client Facebook groups. And it's amazing. And it doesn't matter the industry. It's every single industry that I'm like, I'll see a testimonial. I'm like, and I'll message them like, what industry are you in? And they say an industry. And I'm like, I didn't even know that existed.
Right.
What is that? I've never even heard of that. Oh, I sell cybersecurity for institutions in Colombia that specialize in this. And I'm like, well, okay, that's awesome.
Dude, it's amazing. I've heard stories about industrial water purification in Central America. I've heard solar all over the world. Yeah. I know nothing about either one of those industries, but I love the stories. I love it.
No, it's crazy. The testimonials are crazy, and they're growing bigger and bigger every day. And what I love about you is you kind of got out of sales for a while. So let's go into that. So you got out of sales for a while, and you got into, I think, trading or something. Tell us a little bit more about what you've been doing.
Well, I got really lucky. I met a mentor that taught me how to trade the NASDAQ, specifically the Qs. And he made $110 million in 18 months, and he doesn't have any kids. So he's an older guy that's kind of got some health problems, failing health, and decided to kind of mentor me. Wow. So I was able to absorb that, and we would spend 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, learning this. And so that's been my morning job. That's kind of what I do in the morning by myself.
Yeah. Early because you're trading the NASDAQ, right?
Yeah, I'm up at like 5 a.m. I'm doing that. And that's been really fruitful. It's been amazing. That's why all these stupid screens behind me and everywhere, because you got to look at all this different stuff. But
you look like you're in a command center. I love it. You look like for NASA over there.
But after that, I mean, when you're trading by yourself and just you versus a bot or a computer or an algorithm, it's really nice to have. I'll never get done. I'll never want to stop doing what I'm doing with sales. Yeah. Because I meet wonderful people. I help people. They become friends. It's a nice part of my life.
Well, the cool thing I love about you is you hit me up like 3 months ago, and you're like, hey, man, how's it going? We hadn't talked for probably a year or something. I mean, we text back and forth about football and stuff like that, right? But you're like, dude, I'm thinking about getting back in sales. I'm doing some trading. I'm doing really well, but I'm only, I just do it 2 or 3 hours a day, and I'm literally like bored as hell the rest of the day. Do you have like a job somewhere? Because as you know, part of our business is we help place salespeople that are trained by us and certified by us into other companies. Because a lot of companies come to us looking for salespeople that are trained, know how to sell, because they know they're going to crush it for them, right? So I'm like, actually, we have a client that just started. He's looking for, four salespeople, and it's selling like what people call like high ticket sales, right? You're selling like, I think it's marketing training, the job we got. And the funny thing is, you've never sold that, and you get the job, and by I think this last month, so your second or third month, kind of like 2.5 months in, you make $50,000 in commission in just 1 month. Now, for most,
I had no idea what you guys were selling. I had no clue what you guys were selling. I had no idea who the clients were. I use NEPQ and it works.
Well, and the cool thing is you don't even do that job full time. Like I think you.
Oh no, I do that maybe 3 hours, like real 3 hours a day.
Yeah, you're consistently on those 3 hours, like prospecting.
Oh yeah, like back to back, like everything, boom, boom, boom.
You trade in the morning 2 or 3 hours, then you get into your sales job for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and you make quite a bit of money from trading. Now you're making 50,000 plus, and I'm assuming that each month that's going to go up in your sales job, because I know you'll get up to $60,000 a month.
It does. The pipeline builds, guys. You build the pipeline.
Yeah, you get more clients in the pipeline who are getting their funding, and that's a crazy thing. Is like most people are like, how does he go from an industry he's never sold in? Not really. I mean, you sold personal development products a long time ago when we were in the same company. This is a lot different. This is like marketing.
This is way different, and I know nothing about marketing.
You know nothing about marketing. That's the thing. You don't know how to market. So it's not like you're talking about, here's what you do on YouTube and here's what you do on Facebook.
No.
You're not selling the thing. You're selling the results of that thing, right? And all you know is questions to ask to help them find out what their problems are, what their real problem is, okay? And then what the root cause of that problem is, like how it happened, and then how it's affecting them. And when you're able to sell that and you're able to help them see what their current situation is, and then you're asking them solution awareness questions that help them see what their future state can be once it's solved and where they want to be once they have, for your case, their marketing fixed, there's this massive gap in their mind of here's where they're at, here's where they want to be. Your questions help them make that gap so big in their mind that it creates massive urgency for them to feel like they have to do something now, not later. So you don't get objections where they're like, well, this sounds good, but maybe call me back in 6 months, do you?
No. In fact, I get, thank God that the Apple phone or the Androids turn off at certain hours, do not disturb automatically, because I get these middle of the night, late at night, early in the morning before I'm up, we need to talk. Yeah. Like, I never used to get that kind of stuff. I would have to call them back, all that. This is like, listen, I know it's been 2 weeks, but I can't sleep. I got to do this. And it's like, all right. All right.
Yeah. Do you feel like this could be the answer for? Yeah. So even with people that haven't got the funding, they're like chasing you down to send the money into the company so you can make the sale rather than you chasing them down. It's a night and day version. Once you guys learn NEPQ, once you get into our NEPQ 3.0 sales training courses, and you go through our virtual training course, it's a 15+ hour training course. Okay. Plus you're on our advanced role-playing training calls the week with our sales trainers. And I even do one of those. You get massive skills. You learn these questions that Dave has learned from us. Yep. And that's why he's making that much money. Because if you hadn't gone through any of that training, where do you think you'd be?
Well, I wouldn't be sitting up on the top of a mountain in Paris Valley. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Not with a 6-car garage. That is for sure. That's for damn sure. What I can tell you is, guys, if you're with a company that, if they're good products and good services, you're helping them so much. Like you're doing them such a service of just, realize you're the one that's really going to help. Maybe they've got a 10-year-old son like I've got, and and he wants a new gaming computer for his birthday, and you can help these people. It's worth it. Put in the time.
Yeah, because if you don't learn the right skills and you can't help, you don't know the right questions to ask your prospect to help them move forward to solve their problems with your solution, that's on you. It's not on them. It's on you, because you haven't learned the right skills. You haven't learned the right communication skills that work with human behavior that allow them to see that and make that easy decision that they want to solve the problem they just told you they had. Okay. You have to even know how to ask the right questions for them to even reveal the problems to you, because prospects don't just reveal problems to you unless they're laydowns. But that 95% of your prospects are not like that. So you have to learn how to ask the right questions that cause them to want to engage with you, to want to open up to you. You can't just go in there starting to probe and they're just going to like give you all the information. You have to know the right questions that allow them to want to give you that information, to trust you, to view you as like the trusted authority, the trusted expert. Whereas most salespeople, they just view as somebody trying to stuff their solution down their throat, and then they commoditize them and try to get rid of them. So Dave, well done. I know we're going out to lunch next week, right?
Absolutely. Guys, one last thing I would tell you. If Jeremy allows this, record yourself on a call and send it to him. Because if I could have gone back to when I was just starting in my 20s and recorded on like a Betamax and like mailed it to him, he can help you so much. He can help you so quickly on this. You may not even realize some major mistakes you're making, that just those little ones there may improve your bottom line by 25%, maybe 30, 40. But it really is like, as much as nobody wants to record themselves, record yourself and give it to a trusted expert like Jeremy. And he will help your bottom line dramatically.
So we have that in our NEPQ 3.0, or actually our advanced inner circle program. So every Wednesdays, we like right after this call in 13 minutes, my advanced inner circle members, we break down their recorded sales calls for 90 minutes. We do that on Mondays and Wednesdays. So we have that program. It's awesome.
See, guys, I wouldn't know that because I'm old school. I still do it. I'm like 3 years behind on this. I got to get my income up a little bit, Jeremy.
I love it, man. All right, I'm going to let you go. I know you've got leads to call. I've got to do this training call for our inner circle members. Any last words of advice for anybody?
I would just say, my dad told me many, many years ago, like, just the best thing about you find something good, just keep showing up and never quit.
Yeah.
Like, find, if you want to do this, if you guys want to do this in sales, you may find different opportunities, but learn how to do it and just keep showing up and never quit. And you guys are going to be really happy.
If you want to be a sales professional, or if you're a business owner and you really want to scale your business, it's all about learning the right skills so your salespeople can sell way more than they are now. That's what holds you back. Sales is king. You can have the best fulfillment, the best everything, but if you can't sell, nothing matters. And if your income is dependent on how much you sell, why the hell wouldn't you learn the right skills that work with human behavior so you can sell 2 or 3 or 4 times more than you are now? Makes no sense. I love it. Dave, you're the man. Keep crushing it, dude. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everybody, for being on here.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed these, here's another you can watch right over here, right over here. Join our free Sales Revolution group. Click the link below, join us, and we're gonna help you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon.